Okay, so today we're going to do this dude right here. We're going to use hot glue gun. We're going to cut some cardboard up. We're going to use some clay. Now this is some old wed clay, Walter Elias Disney clay. This is used to make like maquettes, and they use it a lot around here to do car mock-ups. Chavant clay, it's basically the same thing. This is an oil-based clay, and why it's important that it's oil-based is that it won't harden. I've used the kind that does harden, which is another one that Disney has used in the past. And if you cast a copy of it, it's going to crack before you can get it out of there. You may get a mold out of it, but you won't have the original anymore. So I've always used this for the last, say, 5 or 6 years. Comes in big blocks, and I have many different kinds of it. I buy this like at 25 pounds at a time because it's a lot cheaper, and I can get it locally because it's Detroit's right here. So we're going to make a box. We're going to glue this down to the box. We're going to pack some clay on it because we're going to make a 2-part mold out of this. In fact, we need to clean this up just a hair. We're going to clean up any of the extra flashing, which is basically little pieces that stick out from the original mold. We're going to shave that off with a razor blade is what I'll use, an X-Acto knife. But other than that, it's just putting a box together with some tape and some hot glue. And let's get started with that. We just pick a piece of cardboard that's going to be big enough to make a mold out of. So we've got this. Let's go ahead and get the X-Acto knife out. We're going to cut the box back. We're just going to cut this, leave enough room. Doesn't have to be straight. Just has to be good enough to be taped or to be closed better. Let's cut a little shorter. Okay, X-Acto blade. Let's check this out. That looks pretty good. And it looks like we're almost ready. Let's see if it's ready here. So let it cool off just a second, and then we'll stick it on there. Looks like that'll be good. Okay, so we're building it up around to make a spot. I've got my carving tools here. This is just a bunch of tools I use just to carve stuff like this. These ball-headed ones, I don't know how you can see that, are usually the ones I like the best. Has a ball on the end, and they come in many different sizes. There's little loops that I use. You can see there I use these two. And then these are great for getting in the little details. Now here it is once it's in the box. We're going to fill this part up with rubber molding compound. We'll get out in just a second here. The point of this is here that we've put it all around to make a dividing point so we can pull him out once we've cast him. Okay, so we've got everything ready to go here. I've switched some of the mold making material I'm going to use. This is what we're going to use. This is Raw Materials. It's the company, and this is Magic Mold T124. I will try and put some links down below if somebody's interested in doing this. I always have gloves for this. And this is the curing agent, or catalyst, I should say. And it's Magic Mold T100 Fast Red Silicone Rubber Catalyst. These are what I usually use. These buckets work the best. They don't dry out, and they seal very nicely. Some of the other ones with the screw tops just never seal to my liking, and they do tend to dry out and be unusable. So this is what I use here. Now, for every 10 ounces of the stuff in the big bucket here, I'm going to use 1 ounce of this here to make the rubber for it. We're going to estimate how much we need and then go from there. So let's go ahead. I've got a scale here. We're going to turn this around so it actually faces me so we can see the actual amount. Put this on here. We'll have to tear it out. There we go. And we're going to pour this in there. There we are. It's pretty thick, but that's fine. And this stuff I don't usually degas. We can usually get away with not degassing this here. I think maybe we'll need a little bit more. So we need 1.3. So that would be 13.5. See it right there. I think we're about ready there. I don't see any more white coming in. You can see it's all the same. That's literally what we want. And we're going to pull out our mold here, and we're just going to let it drop in. Okay, and you can kind of see it. We're going to use some filler so we don't have to use as much rubber, and I just put in small pieces of old rubber we've already used. And it does work. We put it in the side that we don't need to have any issues. And this will level it back up higher. And then we just need to let this set up here. We'll come back. We're going to take this apart. We'll take the clay out, and then we'll pour the other half at the end. Okay, so now it's dry, and you can see I put in chunks of already used rubber because it just fuses together and it saves time and money, especially money, I should say, because it fills in gaps and you don't need as much of the new rubber to do it. So anyway, let's cut this out. We're going to mark on here where we want to have the mold go up to. That way we don't waste too much rubber. Okay, it's hard to see, but it goes up to the line. We'll move it around just a hair. And that is it for the mold itself. We'll take it out, and we're going to show you casting it as well. So here we are. It's all done. I've got it both sides cast. We're going to take it out of the mold, and we're going to cast a copy of this right now. Let's get an X-Acto knife out. We're just going to cut some of the tape and get it out of here. Okay, so I've cut some channels in here, and they go all the way down along the sides of this, so it'll fill up from the top, and it'll have air escape from the head top here. So on both sides, it's like a canal running all the way around it. Hopefully you can see that. And they're going to go together here. And we're just going to use some cardboard, I think. Okay, so now we're going to mix up some resin. And this is polyurethane resin. I've used this quite some time. Okay, I've got some containers I always use so I can pour out equal amounts into these. So you can see I've got A and B, and we're going to guesstimate how much of this we need. Let's get this over here. And we're going to pour it in. You can see it starting to harden up. If you look closely, there's actually steam, what looks like steam coming off. It's the chemical reaction of it changing, and it's going to turn white. It turns white in the thickest part first, and then it moves out from there. I don't know why that is, but that's what it does. You can see it's turning now. I don't want to turn this one yet, just because I don't want anything to happen. Well, I guess it's probably safe. You can see it happening there. Let's give it another minute. I think we're almost there. Okay, now it's all hard. Let's see, make sure it's pretty darn hard. We'll just take this one out. This is just something extra, just to use up the leftovers. And you can see it's just a alien head from one of our ones we've done. So that's really all there is to it. Hopefully you can see that. We've made some casts that can be cut off there, no big deal. You'd have to just be a little careful is all. So let's see how the other one came out. There you can see, that's the cavity filled in. Take off all that's just extra, and hopefully she comes off good. A couple little spots in the toe we'll have to work on, but other than that, it looks pretty darn good. out. And there we go. So you can see in just a few minutes you can make a bunch of these. It takes probably about 5 minutes for the plastic to set all the way up. An X-Acto knife would get rid of any of the leftover little giblets, but that's about it.